Hi, I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Ross.
Today we're going to talk about a framework for how we can work together. So last week we began a conversation about why it's important to work together and what it means to work together towards a flourishing city. And so this week we really want to kind of dive into the specifics of how do we work together and kind of what sort of approach can we take towards people who maybe believe differently than us, either within Christianity or outside of Christianity. How can we work together with those people and find points of agreement where we can work together?
Yeah, it's good. We need a framework for working with other churches and people who aren't a church at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's some really good stuff out there, and we talk a lot about bounded set and centered set. And a bounded set is the idea that basically if you're in the circle, then I can work with you. And that circle boundary line is really determined by just what you believe, or maybe it's what you think. It could be a doctrinal issue. It could
Mm-hmm.
be a political party. It could be that you're a sports fan of a certain team, and therefore you're, whatever that looks like. The bounded sets are out there in culture regularly.
Mm-hmm.
But a bounded set is basically, do you think like I think? Do you believe like I believe? And if the answer is no, then I'm not working with you.
Right.
And that's kind of a bounded set mentality.
Right. And it's important to point out that bounded sets aren't always bad.
Right.
There are times that you want to work together with specifically someone who believes the same thing
Yes.
as you. But in a lot of cases, you don't necessarily have to agree with someone in order to work towards a common goal together with them. And that's really the philosophy behind a centered set mentality. It's this idea that instead of the set being determined by a boundary that you're either in or out of, the set is defined by a common target that we're all moving towards, that we're all striving for.
Right.
So if you had a centered set around foster care, for instance, regardless of what you believe or sort of the philosophy by which you live your life, if you care about caring for kids who are in foster care in our community,
The reconciliation of families. Yes.
right, yes, yeah, then we can find ways to work together on that, and it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to look exactly the same in what we believe about everything else.
Yeah, if you're moving towards that target, then let's work together. If you're not moving towards that target, then we don't need to work together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really a powerful framework for kind of the how. And I think this is important culturally because we live at a time where people aren't even civil about disagreeing. And so what people are saying
That's
is...
not true.
Yeah, there's no evidence of that whatsoever.
Yeah.
But what we're saying here is like, hey, we might need to agree to disagree on why we're doing something, or specifically the philosophy that we have of pursuing that thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if the outcome that we want is the same, which is in your example, kids having adults who take care of them,
Mm-hmm.
then let's pursue that outcome together. Let's
Right.
share in that. Let's learn from each other. Let's cheer each other on. And that's just a totally different way of operating. Kind of where we are as a culture, that's totally opposite.
Right.
There's also this idea of collaboration that gets talked about a lot. And it means different things to different people, and we throw the word around a lot. There's actually a great collaboration continuum that was produced from the Tamarack Institute, and we'll share it, I think, with you guys. But it helps us kind of give more clear definition to what we mean when we say collaborate. So there's like 7 words on this scale, from compete to integrate. There's coordinate, there's cooperate, there's communicate, and there's collaborate, and it's really a helpful guide for navigating what's the most appropriate kind of partnership or working together strategy that we need to solve this problem. It could be collaborate, it might just mean we need more communication.
Right.
Or maybe we need to integrate and we need to reduce the number of organizations we have and kind of come together under one.